Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my podcast and YouTube channel, helping other people evolve. My mission and vision with Hope is just to help people know that they don't struggle alone. Just to let people know that even though they might be going through the worst struggle that they thought, you can hear a story of hope and just know that you can get through the struggle. We are just here sharing stories of our struggles that we've been through and the hope that we found in whatever way that we can. And I just hope that I can inspire you if you're having a bad day, a bad week, that you can get out of bed and take a deep breath and we'll just navigate through however we need to. But there's different ways of approaching the situations and getting through those situations. And that's all I'm here to do. Now, for those of you that follow me, it's been a minute since I've had a podcast. It's actually been since December. In my last podcast, I interviewed my friend Brandon. So let me tell you what, I'm here to share a little bit about, I'm not going to take too much time, but a little bit about my journey since the beginning of January. So I decided a long time ago, I did not like living in Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan, where I was from. So I decided to pack my bags and head to Texas. So this I did the beginning of January. I went ahead and packed it up. I had some delays. So this is kind of what I'm going to tell you about, like how I had to navigate through. As you guys can see, I'm sitting on my bed right now because this is the only piece of furniture that I have right now in my apartment, but I'm blessed to have a bed. So back to January. So I'm getting ready to leave, right? I'm getting ready to leave out of my house to head to Texas. I have friends that live down here. They said that I could stay with them for a little while until I get, figured out where I'm going to live and all of those things. And I'm getting ready to leave, and all I have is a mattress in my apartment laying on the floor. Everything else is bagged up, packed up, ready to go. And I look at my friend says to me, "Hey, did you happen to look at the weather? I'm so blessed to have such great people in my life." I'm like, "No, I didn't." I look at the weather, a huge snowstorm coming across the country. So I'm like, well, I can't leave when I was planning on leaving. I'm just going to sleep on this mattress for a few days so I can get ready to go. So finally get everything done, and snowstorms all go through and I'm ready to leave. So here I go, heading to Texas. 2-day travel, made it down here, a bunch of tubs in my truck, and basically I brought all clothes. It's going to be part of this story too. I packed a whole bunch of clothes. I knew I was staying at my friend's house, so I didn't really need anything but clothes, and plus I didn't have much more room in my truck for just certain things to bring down here with me. And since I was staying with them, that meant I didn't really have any place to store anything, and it was January, so that's what I did. Now, I knew that where I was staying with them was pretty far from where I wanted to live, about 100 miles, about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, depending on the day. But I knew where I wanted to live, and I wanted to live in the Dallas, Fort Worth, McKinney, Plano, that kind of area, Allen, Frisco. So I knew that, and I'd been looking at different diners and stuff. So here I come. I'm like, okay, I was there probably about a week, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go try to find a job. I'm driving 2 hours to go try to find a job, but do that for a couple days, couple applications in places, and the one guy called me the next day, or that night, and he said, "Hey, can you come in tomorrow for an interview, and also to kind of look around?" I was like, "Sure." So I get up, I take my 2 hour drive, I get there, and it was a nice little diner. That's what I wanted to kind of looking for, was a diner. And I get there and I'm like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not very busy. And I could tell, like, this is the time of the day it should be more than one table, but there wasn't. And he told me that it was a slow time. And I said, okay. He's like, well, can you come in on Sunday and expo a little bit? I was like, sure, I can do that. Why not? I have nothing else to do but drive 2 hours to come expedite food and see if this is a job I want. So long story short, I go there, I talk to him, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go get something to eat and fill out some more applications. I just wasn't feeling it at this place. So I go to this diner, and I don't know if I should tell the beginning of the story or the after the story. I'll tell a little bit about the story first. So a year ago, I came to Texas to visit a friend. My friend was sick the entire weekend. So I went and visited other friends. I made some dream boards and vision boards and stuff like that. But I went and visited some other friends. So then on that Sunday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get up and go to church. So I got up and I went to church, which was right across the street from the hotel I was staying at. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get something to eat. Now, this is my diner story. So I go get something to eat at this diner, and I remember the day so well because I'm in Texas, of course, a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans, and anybody that knows me, I'm a Lions fan. So I go there, right, and I'm looking around at this diner, and I was like, man, if I ever moved to Texas, this is where I would want to work. But on a Sunday, I'm wearing my Lions jersey. And everybody got on Cowboys except for one table had on a Minnesota Vikings outfit. It was or shirt jerseys. It was a whole family, and that's who the Lions were playing that day. And I was like, of course, I'm surrounded by Dallas fans and some Minnesota Vikings. So, anyways, I leave the restaurant. I go for a walk in the park, things like that. End of the weekend, go home, living life, right? So I go to this restaurant. Now I'm back to this time when I'm here in Texas. I go to this restaurant after I'm talking to the gentleman at the other place, and I didn't know the name of the restaurant I went to back there in January of last year. And I walk in and I open the door and I was like, I've been here before, like that. And the lady that was standing at the hostess stand, she's like, that's good. Like I said it out loud and I'm like, no, I said I was here last year in January. I just really love the vibe here. But I didn't tell her I was filling out an application. And I'm going to tell you why, just in case you're a server and you're trying to fill out an application or you've never been a server and you're going to go fill out an application. Little words of wisdom. You never fill out an application during breakfast rush, lunch rush, or dinner rush. They won't hire you because they're going to be like, this girl doesn't know anything about the restaurant industry. So it was lunchtime. So I did not. I went and sat at the counter. I ate breakfast. There was a police officer sitting down at the end of the counter. I was like, I'm not buying him breakfast. And I'm thinking to myself, you are not even making any money right now, but here you are trying to bless people because that's what I like to do. And I'm not doing that for a pat on the back. This is part of the story. So anyways, I get done eating and now the lunch rush is kind of over. And I talked to a few of the waitresses, just really good vibe, right? So I go over to the hostess stand and I say to the lady, I said, well, really, I came in to fill out an application, but I didn't want to do that during your lunch rush. And she's like, my name's Lydia. I'm the owner. And I was like, oh, so nice to meet you. She gives me an application. She looks at me and she says, after I fill it out, can you start tomorrow morning? I'm like, sure can. I said, what time? She's like, 8:00. I said, is this going to be full-time or part-time? She's like, oh, full-time. I'm like, okay. So I go back, drive 2 hours back, get back there, and I'm like, I got a job. And they're like, where? And I'm like, in Plano. And they're like, Tammy, it's 100 miles. I'm like, I know, but eventually I'm going to move closer to there. So I got there the next day, and these were the words that she said to me. Now, I already knew in my heart this is where I was supposed to be because a year ago I told myself if I ever moved to Texas, this is where I want to work. A year ago, I should have wrote down the name of it, but then my story wouldn't have been so good, right? Because then I would have known where I was going. I had no idea it was the same place. Like I said, I walk in the next day and she's expediting the food. If you don't know anything about that, I mean, she's taking it off the window and giving it to the server so we can deliver it. She says, I said, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I'm super excited to work here. And she said, you have no idea how long I've been praying for you. And I thought, man, I am in the right spot, right? So needless to say, I'm driving back and forth. Now, I have to be to work at 8 a.m. I'm leaving my friend's house in Mineola, which is 100 miles away, at 5:30 in the morning, and sometimes barely making it at 8 o'clock, if that tells you anything about how traffic was. Um, it was rough. I did this for I might even done it for 4 weeks, back and forth, back and forth. Once in a while, I'd stay at my friend Chastity's, who's about an hour from there, but I couldn't stay there all the time. She would have let me if I really asked her, but I'm not an intruder like that. And so, anyways, I'm putting 1,000 miles on my truck a week, 1,000 miles on my truck a week, but I love my job and I know this is where I'm supposed to be. So I start looking for apartments, right? Which is hard too, because now I'm working and I'm trying to find an apartment and I'm driving home and I'm getting stuck in traffic again. And all of this is just like exhausting to my soul, but I know this is where I'm supposed to be. So I find an apartment, right? I find a nice apartment complex. I talk to a guy who lives here. They weren't open at the time, the offices. And he's like, yeah, it's really nice, da, 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 da. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get here, I talk to the lady, I get the apartment all. She shows me this apartment. I'm like, what I love the most about it, honestly, I'm not going to lie, was the closet. My closet is off the bathroom and it's a walk-in closet. Like it could be a little bedroom. That's how big my closet is. And so I'm so excited, right? Well, guess what? I can't get the apartment yet. You know why? I haven't worked anywhere long enough. I don't have any income. So I'm like, oh, good Lord. So now I got to wait a little bit till I at least get one paycheck. I have to wait a little bit for my boss to write a letter stating like, okay, here's her paycheck. This is how much she's going to make, blah, 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 blah. So I have to have some sources sort of income. I had, things from Lavelle. I promote a product, so I had that also. But it was just that trying time. So now I'm driving back and forth still, right? Still 1,000 miles a week. I've had my truck since December 11th. It is now March 15th. I have 8,200 miles on my truck, if that tells you anything. So I finally get all of this together, right? And she's like, okay, we're going to get you in this apartment. And I'm like, yes, thank you, Jesus, because it's only 12 miles from my work, which is a 20-minute drive. And I am so excited. So this is how my life's going right now, right? I'm this, that, everything's going. Now we're trucking. Now I get to move into an apartment. Pretty soon I get to move my stuff to the apartment. I don't have a bed or anything yet, but I'm going to be moving stuff, clothes. So it comes through. I'm allowed to get the apartment. So I said to her, okay. She's like, okay, well, I got this number, whatever the number of the apartment was. And I said, okay. She's like, do you want to see it? I'm like, well, is it just like the one you showed me? And she's like, it's exactly like the one I showed you. I'm like, then I don't really need to see it. I've already seen the one that you showed me. So I know it's a different apartment, but exactly the same layout. She says, yes. I come back a couple days later to make sure everything's going through. And I asked her again, it's exactly the same, right? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, lo and behold, I move into this apartment on a Saturday night. Now, I'm telling you all of this as a story because I want you all to hear the things that um, I've had to navigate through. I'm just going to say that. I had to navigate through and I had to make decisions on how I was going to navigate through. And this is what happens in life. We have to navigate through the things because life's not just a big old rainbow that you get to just fly down and just go around and everything's great and fine and you find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's not how life works. So, and if it does for you, then yay for you, but it doesn't work like that for me. So, I'll tell you why in a minute. I just had a nice long conversation with someone about this, but so, anyways, it's a Saturday that I finally get to move into my apartment. I get off work, get my keys. I go walking into this apartment. Now, the lady that told me about the apartment isn't in the office on this Saturday. And by this time, there's nobody in the office. I go walking in this apartment and I look around and I'm like, this is not the same layout that I was told I was going to get. I walk into the bedroom. And the bedroom has carpet. Everything else is tile and hardwood floors, but the bedrooms have carpet. And there's a big old stain on the carpet. And I'm looking like these apartments aren't cheap, okay? They're definitely not cheap. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This is not at all what I wanted. I'll have to message her on email her on Monday. But it's going to be where I'm going to stay now because I'm not going to drive all the way back to Mineola tonight. So I go to Walmart. Sometimes I think things like this only happen to me so that I can share stories with you. So I go not all the way to Walmart, it's 1 mile down the road. I go to Walmart, I get an air mattress, a queen size air mattress, which I have friends that are going to come visit. So I was like, I'll just get a queen size air mattress. That's what I'll sleep on until I get a bed. And I get this queen size mattress. By this time, I'm exhausted. I get here, I open up the box, and I should have known then and just left it in the box, but it wasn't wrapped up in any like plastic or anything. So I'm not thinking, and I blow it up and I look and I'm like, are you kidding me? This air mattress is used. We won't talk about what it had all over it. It was disgusting. Disgusting. I take it and I don't even want to touch it and I roll it back up and I throw it in the box, head back to Walmart. So I get back to Walmart, I walk in with it. It was on clearance, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. It was on clearance, $22 off. And I was like, great, thanks. This is perfect. And so I take it to the service counter and the lady looks at me. She says, well, we don't sell used air mattresses. And I'm like, yeah, you do. And she's like, well, ma'am, we don't. And I'm like, are you telling me that I'm bringing you back this dirty air mattress? She's like, well, and then she's like, it was on clearance. I'm like, I see it was on clearance. I was just in the line with whatever his name was and bought it. Look at the timestamp on this. I didn't even have time to do anything. I took it home. I blew it up. It's got throw stuff on it that you should just burn this mattress. And she's still giving me a hard time about it. And I'm like, now, through these things that I'm going to share with you, I have really had to remember who I am. I had to really remember that I'm not the Tammy Lynn Connors that I used to be years ago, that the words that came out of my mouth would not have been kind at all. So I take a deep breath with her and I'm like, ma'am, I promise you, I took this to my apartment. I am exhausted. I just wanted to sleep tonight, and this is disgusting. So she's kind of looking at it and she's like, well, we don't sell mattresses like this. I'm like, I don't know what happened, but this mattress was in this box, period. She's like, well, okay, then just go back there and get another one. And I'm not going to, we don't give refunds. I'm like, I'm not asking for a refund. I just want to sleep on an air mattress. So I go back right in the area. I grab a mattress. I come back up to the counter, and she does it almost like a gift card. And then she tells me, she's like, okay, that'll be $11. So the mattress was 33, originally 55. So I was like, oh, well, at least she gave me, $10 off or whatever. And I take the air mattress and I looked at her and I said, that mattress right there, you should take it and burn it because that's how disgusting it is. And then I leave. I get home and now not only am I tired, I'm just like, I'm exhausted emotionally, like looking at her like, really, you're just going to accuse me of this? Because why? I don't understand. So anyways, I go to blow the air mattress up. I swear to God to you, it was a twin. She didn't give me a discount. She made me pay for the twin mattress, which was $44. And now I have a twin mattress and I'm like, oh my God, I do not want to go back to Walmart and trade this in. I'm like, just forget it. I'm going to keep a twin mattress and that's what's going to be at my apartment. If I need an extra mattress. So blow it up, go to sleep, right? Go to work. Now, when I say that God is good to me, God is good to me all the time. I go through trials, but he's always good to me because this next thing is going to, share a little bit more. So this is on Saturday night. So Sunday I work, Monday I work. So Monday night I'm driving back to Mineola to my friends to get all my clothes and load them up in my truck and then stay there Monday night, Tuesday night, come back in town Wednesday night to go back to work Thursday. And well, here in Texas, the weather's really weird right now, but it was, and I'm not even kidding you because I called my son and I was like, it is freezing here today. And he's like, oh, okay, mom. And I'm like, Chad, the wind chill is -5 degrees. He's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah. I said I was going to move all my stuff, but I'm not going to move it. It's raining, it's snowing, it's icing. I'm just going to wait and do it next week because next week it's going to be in the 70s. Let me tell you how good God is. Because if I would have brought all that stuff with me, I don't know what I would have done because I would have carried it all the way up to my apartment and I had to carry it all back down to another apartment. So in the meantime, now back to my apartment. So got the air mattress, twin air mattress, hard to sleep on, but it's fine. I got an air mattress. I'm blessed. And so on Monday, I emailed the lady and I was like, hey, I don't know if this was a learning process for me, but I usually am pretty good at trusting people and their vibes and things like that. And I'm just really discouraged, not very happy because this isn't the apartment you promised me. And here's a picture of the stain in the carpet. That's on Monday. I don't hear from her Monday. Tuesday, I don't hear from her Tuesday. Wednesday, I email her again. I'm like, hey, I'm really not happy here. I'm looking out my window. Their compactor was broke, and all I see is garbage. And the apartment's not the right apartment, and I'm just not happy right now. And I said, I guess I should have never trusted you. You told me it was the exact same layout. Finally, on Thursday, she emails me. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Tammy. I was out of the office Wednesday. Okay, well, I emailed you Monday, Tuesday, but I'm me. If you guys know me, I'm very kind. I'm very like, it'll be fine. Everything's gonna work out. She says, what can we do to rectify this? I'm like, you can put me in an apartment that you said you were gonna put me in. It's like, okay, well, I gotta speak with management, make sure, what we can do. Fine, just do something because I'm not happy right now. She emails me the next day and she says, okay, she's like, I talked to management. We're going to get you in this apartment 2303 or something like that. But we can't get you in there till next Friday. I'm like, It's fine. I don't have my clothes or anything yet. It'll work out perfectly. I'll get my clothes Tuesday, Wednesday. Keep them in my truck until Friday when I get to move into this apartment because it's on the third floor. My other apartment's on the second floor. So I stay there on my little air mattress, not comfortable or anything, but this is what I'm gonna do. The next week, so I sleep there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on my little air mattress. Monday after work, I drive to Mineola again, the 200 miles. I stay there for 2 days and it's beautiful. It's 75, 80. They got a huge lake. I just kind of chill by the lake, just chill out. Wednesday, pack all the totes up, load them all up, strap them down, drive back here to McKinney. I get here and good, it's Thursday, right? I go to work. Well, Wednesday night, I get up in the morning, go to work on Thursday. I get a text from her or email that says, hey, just to let you know, maintenance and everybody's in the apartment right now and they're working on it. Should be able to have the keys later this evening. Cool. I email her back. I'm like, super excited. Can't wait to move into the new apartment. She doesn't respond. I email her again a little bit later. I was like, hey, by the way, I was thinking about renting a garage. I have a Jeep Gladiator. I like to take the doors off and the roof off, and in the summertime, that way I have a place to keep my doors and the roof and or the top, whatever you want to call it. And so I'd like to do that. I'm also starting an ice cream cart business. That's a whole nother story, but I would like to be able to park that there, and she doesn't respond. So it's like 5:45. Now I know that she's not in the office till at 6. 6 o'clock is when the office closed. 5:45, I'm sitting in my apartment on my air mattress and I email her again. I'm like, hey, just curious, am I getting the keys tonight or tomorrow? I know that you close at 6 o'clock. No response again. So now here I am, not being very happy again with this person and with this apartment complex. So I'm at work the next day. We don't use our phones at work. I went to the bathroom and I happened because I'm wondering if I get to move my apartment. Now I have all my tubs in my truck, mind you. So I got 9 tubs, suitcase in my truck. The whole bed of my truck's full. The inside of my truck's full. Kind of look like Beverly Hillbillies, but on a different level. And I see that I got a voicemail from the apartment complex, and it says, "Hi Tammy, this is Annie. I just want to let you know you can't move into 2303 or whatever it was today because that was already leased to somebody else." I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been waiting to get into this apartment for 10 days. So I call her and I said, listen, I'm at work right now. I will call you when I get off work at 2:30 so we can straighten this out. Well, apparently the girl that I've been working with never talked to management about this, never verified with anyone that I could move into this apartment, and it was leased to somebody else. And now she was trying to release it. It was a mess. And this is on a Friday, and she's not even at work on Friday. So I get off work. I call Annie. Now I had 2 messages. I only knew about the one until later, but I call Annie back and she says, well, I really don't know what we're going to do. She's like, we have this one available and this one available. And they're the unit that you want, but they're like $250 more a month. And I said, I am not paying $250 more a month for what I was promised. So she says, hold on a second. She gets back on the phone in 10 seconds. Like she didn't even really talk to anybody, is what I felt like. But she says, well, that's what our district manager says is the only thing that we can do for you. I said, okay, well, fine. I would like to have your district manager's phone number and name, please. And she's like, okay. So she gives me his number. Now, this is a long podcast and I'm really sorry, but I'm just trying to share with you all. I'm not really sorry. I'm just trying to share with you all exactly how life can be sometimes and how we're going to navigate through it. So we're like, there's something I need to go back to here. Right now we're at like February 14th. I know exactly what day it's Valentine's Day. So I'm going to back up though real quick because there's something very important I have to say through all of this. And many of you know, I get emotional throughout my podcast, but this one is a lot. On Monday, February 3rd, I was at work And like I said, I don't have my phone, but I had it in my apron on Do Not Disturb, but it kept ringing and vibrating and vibrating and vibrating and vibrating. I looked down and it was my niece calling me. And I said to the hostess, we didn't have anybody. It was like 1:40. And I said, I have to go outside and call my niece. There's something wrong. My son has my work phone number. My niece and nephews did not. I call my niece and she's hysterical. And she says, Aunt Tammy, Mom just died. They can't resuscitate her. Um, they tried for 45 minutes and couldn't save her. Not sure what happened. So here I am in Texas, new job, trying to get a new apartment, and find out that my sister has passed away at 54 years young. I left work at 2 o'clock that day. It was like I said, Monday. My days off for Tuesday, Wednesday. Um, the old me, and I don't know if this is going to sound bad or not, but this is how I had to navigate through this. Would have jumped out of plane and flew home and tried to figure out how to fix everybody and everything. But there was nothing I could do to change that situation with my sister. She was gone. Um, my nieces both have their significant others. My nephew has his significant other. My son Chad was in North Carolina. I was gonna go back there and do what? There was nothing I could do. So I ended up getting all the arrangements to have her cremated. I'm going to have a celebration of life in June for her. And it's been a really hard month with that. So this is part of the navigating through things, right? That I've had to do. So through that too. Now, not only is this whole apartment thing just being like, what to me, but I lost my only sister. She was really it because it was just me, my mom, my dad, and my sister. My dad died when we were super young, and my mom was gone too. So in all, it's me left. My stepdad is still alive, and I love him, and he's been a blessing in our life. But just the blood, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, so navigating through that, plus there's a lot of dysfunction in the family there. So we had some battles and some things, and I had to block people, and it was just a mess. And I'm like, listen, and this is what I told people, and this is what I will say right now. I have worked, and if you're this person too, or maybe you're not yet, but maybe you need to do this. I've worked so hard on my mental health and so hard on protecting my peace that if there's something in there that is making it not good, that is trying to ruin it, it's trying to cause drama, I'm sorry, but I'm going to block you and be done because I can't do that. That's not what my life is about. So I had her cremated. Like I said, we're still waiting. This is what, March 15th. She passed away February 3rd. We're still waiting for the autopsy results. I don't know. My sister was a practicing alcoholic, as I call it. She was sober for 7 months, from August of 23 until March 10th of 24. And just never could grasp it. And she was in a lot of health issues. She had been having some heart issues, blood pressure issues. So I'm pretty sure that her body was just tired. So, so I lost her. And so now we're back to the apartment. So I'm going through all that stuff. And I call the department manager, the district manager, and I'm like, listen, I am livid. I leave him a voicemail because he won't answer his phone. I am so upset right now. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my phone number. I need you to call me back. I'm driving around with tubs in my truck. So I give him like 10 minutes. He doesn't call me back, right? And I'm like, oh, now I'm getting mad. Like, don't ignore my phone call. If you would just talk to your apartment people. I call him back again. He doesn't answer. Probably about 2 minutes later, he calls me. He's like, hi, Tammy, this is Christopher from the Soho Apartments, blah, 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 blah. I hear that you're not very happy right now. I said, Christopher, I'm driving right now, so I'm going to pull over in this parking lot so we can have this conversation. So I pull over. He's like, okay. Tell me exactly everything. So I tell him everything. I said, I have all the screenshots of the emails. I have everything. He's like, well, did Jill from the apartment complex call you? And I'm like, no, I talked to Annie. And he's like, did Jill call you? And I'm like, I don't think so. And I looked at my voicemail. Well, there was a voicemail earlier from Jill. That's who I should have called. And I wouldn't have had to call Christopher. But anyways, I did. Christopher's a super nice guy. Christopher's like, Tammy, we are going to take care of you. We're going to put you in the apartment that you wanted. And we're only going to charge you what you were promised. So that happens. Thank you so much. Friday night, I come here. I get to move into my apartment. It's on the third floor. Like I said, I carried 8 tubs in a suitcase up. They all weighed 40 to 45 pounds. I'm trucking them up the stairs. And one of the girls downstairs says, do you need some help? And I'm like, no, I'm good, which I'm always like that. So anyways, get them all up here. And here's another one of my stories, one of my God stories. I'm walking back downstairs and she stops me. She's like, hey, just in case I don't run into you again, I want to invite you to church on Tuesday nights. We have a women's group. I was like, oh, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. So here I go. Tuesday night, I go to this church. Would you believe it is the same church that I went to when I was here last year in January? The same exact church. I walked in, I was like, I've been here before. I'm like, God, you're just showing me exactly where I need to be. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And as I'm saying this, everything else is going on. I get home, I get in my bathtub. I don't have a drain thing for my bathtub. I love to take hot baths, so I don't have that. So I'm telling them I need that. When I say that things kept going wrong, things kept going wrong. But a lot of times in our life, we're going to go through these storms to see, like, I don't know if it's just, I wouldn't want to say that it's to see if we can make it through it. I think it's more of the enemy trying to attack you, trying to tell you that you can't get through it, and trying to stop you from whatever your purpose is and whatever your dreams are and whatever your visions are and whatever your gift is to people. And he tries to slam you down. Like Tammy, it wasn't a good idea to move to Texas. I know it's a good idea to move to Texas. I got a job at the place that I said I wanted to work at a year ago. I'm at a church that I said that I loved a year ago. Move a little bit forward from that, I go to Crunch Fitness because I have a membership there and they have one in Toledo. And I'm almost ready to wrap this up. If you're getting tired of it, I'm sorry, but I just really think that you need to hear the story. And I go to Crunch Fitness and I'm sitting in the sauna. It was my second day there. I'm sitting in the sauna because my back was killing me at that time because I've been sleeping on an air mattress and driving 1,000 miles a week. And these two girls are chatting in the sauna, right? And it was a Saturday night, and I said to the one, or they were chatting, and I said something into their conversation, and then they said, oh yeah, we met at church on Wednesday night, a Bible study. I was like, oh, so cool. I said, I was just Googling churches to see for a church for Saturday nights because I work on Sunday mornings. And the one girl says, oh, I go on Friday nights. It's not too far from here. I was like, I'll join you. So where have I been the last 2 Friday nights? At that church, and I love it. Now, isn't that something? Sitting in a sauna and you have a conversation with someone, and there you go. So throughout that, I told them I wanted to rent a garage, so I rented a garage. They give me the garage key or the garage remote, and they're like, garage door opener, and they said, listen, we got to power wash it. There's an oil stain in there, but here's the controller, and just please be patient with us. It'll be ready on Wednesday. That was 10 days ago. There's still an oil stain on my garage floor. So still all my tubs are up here in my apartment. In the meantime, though, I do a live video and I'm talking about I have to go get a bed and da 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 da. And right after that, it was the next day, I get a voice message from my beautiful friend Chastity, who's been on my podcast. If you haven't seen her interview, you need to go listen to it. But she says, hey, remember that bed that you were sleeping in for a couple days when you stayed here? And I was like, yeah. She's like, did you like it? I'm like, yeah, it's nice and comfy. And she says, well, we're going to take that room and revert it into like more like a guy's. He's got deer heads and all this stuff in there. Sean does. And she's like, so if you want that bed, it's yours. And I was like, oh, how much? She's like, $2 million. I'm like, let me get that from my Swiss bank account. She's like, Tammy, just take it, love it. And if you can gift it to somebody someday, just do that. So here's the bed. If you're watching on YouTube, it's beautiful. I love it. She gave me all the the comforter and things like this. This Hope Believe in Dream pillow. This is my pillow that I had from my other place, but just really cool. So I have a bed, right? So now we got to move the bed though. I'm still on an air mattress. The bed's not coming for a couple weeks because we just couldn't jive the time. So, anyways, in my apartment, let's see. The drain in the bathtub is gone. Doesn't have one. They finally bring me one. A good friend of mine sent me some dishes, some storage, not storage containers, but meal prep containers, and a Keurig machine, just a lot of nice stuff. And my friend was sending me some knives. You know how to get knives in those block. And so for some reason it got delivered through the post office instead of Amazon. So here I am wanting these knives, right? And I know they've been delivered, and I'm like, they're in a box in my mailbox. So my mailbox, you open it, and the mail people will leave a key, the mail lady, and then to the bigger unit, whatever. Anyways, I have 3 keys, right? The girl gave them to me. This is your apartment key, and these are your 2 mailbox keys. This is on Monday. Saturday, I go to get my mailbox. The key doesn't fit my mailbox. I don't even know what my mailbox number is, but I'm kind of looking and figuring it out. But the key doesn't fit at all. It doesn't matter. I was probably going to put it in 20. It doesn't fit. So finally Monday. Oh, in the meantime, my when I moved in here, my internet didn't work at all. I had to have Spectrum come here and fix it and reroute stuff. And I'm just like, okay. So I go down, I tell them on Monday, I walk down to the office, I'm like, hey, listen, my key's not working, my mailbox, I don't even know my mailbox number, blah, 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 blah. They give me the mailbox number. I'm like, yeah, it's not working in there. They're like, okay, we'll have to get the lock changed. But we missed the mail lady today. I'm like, okay, cool. So Tuesday I go back down there and I'm like, here's my keys. And she's like, oh, those aren't mailbox keys. Those are your apartment keys. I'm like, well, you gave me 3 keys and you said one's for your apartment and 2's for your mailbox. And she's like, yeah, this is not a mailbox key. This is your apartment key. So you have 3 apartment keys. I'm like, cool. Where's my mailbox key? I have something in my mailbox I need to get out. And she's like, I don't know. So the girl that originally did all of this stuff with me that didn't speak to management or anything went to lunch one day and never came back to work. So, needless to say, she was the one that pretty much had all of the stuff for the office, the keys, a whole bunch of stuff. So, anyways, deep breath, Sammy. Deep breath. You love your job. You love your new apartment. Everything's going to be all right. So, this is on Tuesday. They missed the mail people again on Tuesday, the mail lady. I'm like, okay. Wednesday, I'm gonna go lay by the pool for an hour. It's 80 degrees. I'm just gonna chill. Um, I go in the office and I said, hey, how about if I go put a note on the mailbox that, hey, she needs the lock changed or whatever I need to do? The girl tells me, oh no, they're doing it right now. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go out here and lay by the pool. She's like, okay, well, if they get done, if you're still there, I'll just give you the key then. I said, okay. So I get ready. I leave the pool. I walk to, I walk by the office and there's nobody in there. Lunchtime. So I'm like, cool. I'll just get the key later. I go down there about 3:30. And now in the meantime, when I went out to the pool, just a real quick, Jill, who is the property manager, was standing out there and she asked me how things were going. Wrong thing to ask me, Jill. I tell her, and I'm kind, and I tell her everything. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I probably shouldn't have asked. I'm like, well, you needed to know. I said, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm blessed. I have a bed to sleep on. I have some dishes, which I should have packed a little bit different when I came here, but that's okay. I have some dishes and I bought a sleeper sofa that'll be here next week. I'm blessed. I have a vehicle. I have a job. I'm blessed. I mean, honestly, I'm blessed. There's so much worse it could be right now. So I go to the office at 3:30. Jill's walking in with me. I'm like, yeah, I'm just here to get my mailbox key. And the girl sits there and she looks at me and she says, we missed the mail lady again. I said, what? Now at this point, I am not even a little bit happy. And I looked at her, I said, this is exactly why I asked if I could put a note on my mailbox. And she just kind of looks at me, right? And Jill's like, you need to make sure you put a note on that mailbox before she gets here tomorrow. So I walk out of the office and I am not happy. I want my knives. I need my knives. I peeled a cucumber with a steak knife. It was not any fun. So I'm almost done. I'm almost done, y'all. Just hang in there a little bit longer, okay? So I get done. I walk out of the office and I message a friend and I'm like, please remind me that I'm a nice person and that I'm not the person I used to be, and I'm going to be very kind right now. Not that I wasn't kind before, but some words could have came out of my mouth real quick, real easy, and I could have blew my top. I had to do a little massage, relax. Everything's gonna be okay. So I leave, right? And I'm not happy. Go to work the next day, which would have been Thursday. After I get off work, I know that the mail lady saw the note because I made sure that the note was there. I go to the office and I just don't. My one friend Cheryl, she said, "Do you think they're doing this on purpose?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. And and they know, they're like, you're so sweet and so kind, and I can't believe that all of this keeps happening to you. And now in the meantime, I'm supposed to pay my rent on March 1st. I can't pay my rent because according to it's on an app, I have two apartments. One I owe whatever. The other I owe an enormous amount of money, which I know I don't owe because for one thing, I get half off my rent for 3 months. And the other thing is that that is not the price that I was told. So they're trying to figure that out. That's taking time. Everything's just taking time. And it's like, what am I trying to learn here? That's what I'm trying to learn. Like, what is the lesson that I'm learning here? And I'm going to share a little bit about that in a minute. So, because I'm almost done with where we're at today, because this just happened this week. And a blessing too. I don't have to drive all the way to Mineola anymore. I just drive 20 minutes to work. And so I finally I stopped there again. It's 3:15 in the afternoon, and the maintenance guy's standing there, and he looks at me, and I'm like, I'm here to get my mailbox key. He's like, oh, give me just a minute. And so I go and I'm waiting and I'm talking to my friend Cheryl, and I'm just sitting in the office area, just kind of sitting there chilling, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Well, Jill comes walking in and she's like, hey, I'm like, Cheryl, let me call you back. She's like, did you see your rent? And I'm like, well, I kind of looked at it, but the price is not right at all. Now it's too cheap. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay too cheap and then have them next month tell me I owe all this. She's like, so you saw it? I'm like, yeah, I saw it, but it's not right. She's like, it's right. She's like, I called them today, corporate, and I said, listen, we have got to figure out a way to take care of this lady. She's like, she has been so patient. She has been so kind. She has not lost her cool, even though I know she wants to. She's kept it together. She might have went in her truck and screamed, but she's kept it together with us and been very professional and very kind about everything that has happened. And they're like, well, it can't be that bad. And she's like, would you like me to have her call you? Because I don't think she's going to keep her cool with you. She's tired of it. Everything keeps happening to her. And she explained it all. And they took a lot off. My rent pretty much was free. Um, and I thanked her. She gave me a hug. She's like, I want you to know I got your back. Don't think that we weren't trying up here, trying to get everything right. And I apologize for everything. And I'm like, I really appreciate you. And that was super kind of her. So now that's nice, and I'm happy, and thank you so much. She's like, now you can go buy more furniture. Like, yeah, or I can help pay for my trip to drive back to Toledo and get all my other stuff. So, anyways, I'm still waiting like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. So I walk over to the mailbox, and he's still drilling. He's having a hard time. I hear him pounding on it. I'm like, may I please just get my mail? That's all I want to do. Just get my mail. Give me the key later. I just need my mail today. I get my mail. I get my knives. I bring them up here. I'm happy. And I told them I got a few other things I'm going to email them that need to just be tweaked and fixed in the apartment. But now I have my knives. I got my rent cheaper. Um, Things seem to be smoother. My garage still needs some work, and they'll work on that. I know that. But through all of it, I was talking to my trainer back home, DeAndre Gaston, who is also on my podcast. So check his story out. But I was talking to him the other day. I was training online with him, and I said, man, I'm like, it's just been one thing after another. He said, Tammy, and I'm not saying this to brag on myself. He's like, you are a true warrior. You are a true warrior of hope. You are somebody that faces battles and you get through them. You don't stop. He's like, you knew that when you moved here, that it probably wasn't going to be a smooth, easy ride like you want it to be. He's like, do you know how many people are in Toledo area? We're just going to say right now that look at you like, man, that's what I want to do, but I'm so afraid to do it. And you didn't let fear stop you. And you didn't let the enemy's attacks pack you back up and move you back. Because I'm not going to lie, there was a couple moments that I was like, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. But I know I'm supposed to be here because all of those trials and all of those things that the enemy was throwing at me are just things to show me that God has a big purpose for me here. God has a big purpose in our lives. And when the enemy tries coming at us hard, we have to be the ones that stand up and put our armor on and go to town for ourselves, for us. We can, and whether you're a believer or you're not a believer, I don't know. I'm a believer, and I can tell you that my friend Monica says, if you don't believe, then maybe you should follow me around a little bit, because the things that happen in my life are only things that God can do. I promise you. That restaurant, that was no coincidence. That was no coincidence that I walked in that restaurant a year ago and said, if I ever move to Texas, this is where I want to work. And then to walk in that same restaurant and not even know that it was the same restaurant when I was pulling in until I walked through the door. And she said, I've been praying for you. And I love that job. I love where I work. I love the people I work with. I love the guests that come in there. That was exactly where I was supposed to be. The church that I go to that has the Bible study, that's exactly where I'm supposed to be. Those women are amazing. And they feed into the prisons. So the prison gets to hear, the women's prison and the men's prison, they get to hear a little bit about Jesus. And that's what I'm here for, to share about Jesus and hope. And don't stray away from my podcast because I just said that, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to make you believe in Jesus, but I am telling you what, there is a Jesus, and he has saved me and my life. And that other church that I'm going to, it's amazing. It's called H.O.P.E, and it's an amazing church. I love it. And the girl I met, now she's going to start working at the diner at the new location they just opened. Like, those are how the doors open and things go. And whether you believe it's God or the universe, that's up to you. If you don't believe that it's God, then you have to believe that it's at least a universe. You have to believe that it's something, because it just doesn't happen like that. I couldn't have laid in my bed because I didn't have one, but I could have laid on an air mattress and just cried about everything that was going on. But I didn't. I got up, I still pounded, I still went to work. I did all the things to make sure that I was getting through, and I protected my peace. And so throughout that, now here I am, a month now. I've been in this apartment for 2 weeks. I love it. It's coming along. Fitz, the little boy I babysit, and his mom are coming to visit me in a couple weeks, and I can't wait for that. Oh, actually, a week and a half. No, I'm wrong. 2 weeks. And then I'm going back to Toledo to get my stuff, and my son's going to drive back with me, and everything's going to keep going the way that it's going. But there's going to be obstacles. There's going to be things in life that try to stop you. There's going to be things in life that are hard. We're all going to go through storms, but I just listened to this the other day somewhere. Do storms last forever? No. Does anything last forever? No. Does hot weather last forever? No. Think about it. Does a rainbow last forever? No. Does the wind last forever? No. Nothing lasts forever. You're going to go through storms. You're going to have life. Life's going to life. And that's what I said. Life's been life in me, right? And when I talked to DeAndre the other day, and he said to me, Tam, they all call me Tam, listen, what you've done has inspired people. They're here in Toledo going, man, she is so brave and strong. I'm not brave or strong. I'm doing what God's calling me to do. This Tuesday, I get to meet with a man that my friend Chastity works with prison ministry and helps women in recovery. And it's a whole process, and it's a 14-week commitment that I'm going to commit to starting in August. I get to go to their graduation in April and see how these lives are changed. He's got like a 89% rate of recovery here, which is huge that this ministry does. I get to go be a part of that. Why? Because I didn't give up. I didn't stop. I didn't let the air mattress that was dirty stop me. I didn't let the wrong apartment stop me. I didn't let the key to my mailbox stop me. I didn't let the garage stop me. I didn't let the 1,000 miles I was driving a week stop me. I didn't let the death of my sister stop me. I didn't let things stop me. And that's where we get to the problem and the struggle and the things and whatever it is you're going through. And yes, I talk to people. I hadn't spoken to a counselor yet, but yes, I confide in my friends. And yes, I pray. And yes, I listen to my Christian music. And yes, I have conversations with God. And I know these things. But at the end of the day, our mental health is most important, and I'm preaching this as a fact. If you are having any issues with your mental health, please go get help. Please go somewhere and get help. Um, Seek a counselor, somebody that you know is good and going to not just prescribe you medicine, that will help you. That's what we need. But when we're going through these struggles and these hiccups and these valleys and these mountains that we got to climb, and then you get back down in that valley, then you climb back up again. Guess what? Just keep going, keep going, keep going. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. That doesn't last forever. And something will come out of it. A lesson will come out of it. Some type of lesson you will learn. And it might not be today that you learn that lesson. It might be down the road. It might not even be for 2 to 3 years that you see the lesson that you learned. But I promise you, in everything we go through, there's a lesson in life. And we just got to get through it. I sit here today with the happiness and the joy that I've made a huge move across the United States by myself. I packed it up and I moved, and to a better place for my hope, for my journey with my podcast, for my journey with my book, for my journey of being on stages speaking, for my journey to change lives. It wasn't happening where I was at. And I knew that. I had friends tell me, you got to go. And I know that. And the hardest thing was leaving my son. My son is still in Toledo. Him and I FaceTime and chat a lot, but it's not the same. He's coming with me to visit, and that'll be great. But at the end of the day, whatever your calling is or whatever you're supposed to do, and maybe you don't even know what that is yet, it's okay. Just keep going. Don't give up. Don't give up. Sunday, March 9th, I just celebrated 21 years of sobriety, 21 years of being sober, 21 years of going through shit too. I mean, good times, bad times, but there's been some really rough times. There's been death, there's been deceit, there's been a lot of things that have happened in my life, but guess what? I never had to do again. I never had to drink again. I never had to drug again. Why? Because I made a choice. I made a choice on March 9th of 2009 to never drink again, to never drug again. And I made that choice and I made that promise, and I will never do that. But I use the tools that I've been given to do that. So I know that was a long podcast. I hope that you got something from it. I hope I didn't bore you. I just really wanted to get it all out there. I was going to do it in 2 parts, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it in one, just to let you guys all know I'm back. I have people I'm interviewing. I've met people that I'm getting ready to interview. A mom here pretty soon that unfortunately lost her son he was murdered 10 years ago by a friend. And so I met her in the parking lot here in my apartments, and I'm going to interview her. I met a guy at the diner that had this nice tattoo. I started having a conversation with him, and guess what? He's been sober 9 years. He's going to be on my podcast. So it's just having conversations with people. I met people to go to church with because I had a conversation. I met people to go to a Bible study with because I had a conversation. Get out there and have conversations. It's okay. And it's okay to be a nice person. And it's okay to not lose your cool when something like all the things that just happened to me, except I almost lost my cool with the lady at the Walmart, but I seriously, I walked away, took some deep breaths again, messaged that same friend and said, remind me that I'm a nice person because I'm about to lose my shit on this lady. And sometimes you got to have friends remind you of these things, but just remember it's okay that life's going to happen. Just be kind, be nice. Today, I just want to share one more thing before I wrap it up here. And today at work, I like to once a week bless somebody, just whoever God puts on my heart. And I waited on this couple today. It was my last couple I waited on, and they're probably, I don't know, 90 something. They were definitely very, very, very aged. They were talking to me about World War II when they were kids in World War II. So, anyways, I knew they weren't going to accept it, but I tried. I walked over and I said, you're probably not going to accept this, but I really hope that you will. I'd like to buy your meal today. And the lady was like, oh, no, you're not. And she was not having anything to do with it. And I said, ma'am, I just like to do this. God puts on my heart who I should bless. And he put you two on my heart today. I said, I just do it not for anything. You just pay it forward to someone, whether you pay it forward with a smile or holding a door for someone or whatever you want to do. And the husband looked at me with tears in his eyes. And he said, never once in my entire existence of life has someone done something like this for me. That crushed my heart. And I don't think he just meant like buying his meal. I just think he meant an act of kindness. And I thought, man, this man has got to be close to 90 years old, and no one has ever done a blessing like that for him. Of course, they didn't let me buy their meal because he said, can I tip you still? And I was like, well, that's kind of defeating the purpose. They wouldn't let me buy their meal. She was just having nothing to do with it. She's like, I like to bless people, and God has given me money, and I am not letting you do that. And I told her I had to accept it and be okay with it. But it just crushed my heart to know that no one's ever offered somebody that. I think that we should all try to be kinder. I think we should all be aware of the situations around us. He said to me, he said, I am one of the 7 people or 9 people in the United States that doesn't have a cell phone. And I'm really trying hard to never get one. He's like, but they make life difficult that you have to get one. And I was like, his wife had one, but he's like, I don't have a cell phone. And I was like, man, look at you being an example. So look at us. We can be that example. We can be that light of hope. We can be that person that makes someone else's day brighter. And maybe you're the one that needs to do that to make your day brighter. Do you know what a good feeling it is to bless people? Do you know what a good feeling it is? And I'm not saying you have to buy their meal or anything like that. Just hold the door open for them. Just give them a smile. Just tell them their hair looks nice today. Just do something like that. Anyways, you guys, my name, as you know, is Tammy Lynn Connors, known as the Hope Dealer. I appreciate you all tuning into Hope. This message I had to get out because I haven't been on here for so long and I missed you all so much. Leave a comment, leave a rating, whatever you want to do. I appreciate it. Please share my podcast. It gets those stories out there to other people. I don't monetize this at all. I just need people to hear the stories, to know that there's hope, to know that we don't struggle alone, and just be glad that you got to get up in the morning, take a deep breath, and know that every little thing's going to be all right. It's a song I sing a lot. Like I said, I have a bed. This is what I sit on right now. I feel like every time I just come home and I sit on my bed, I can't wait to have a couch to sit on and some normalcy, but it's okay. We're blessed to be able to listen to a podcast. We're blessed to be able to launch a podcast. We're blessed to be able to know that we don't struggle alone. And I appreciate you all so much. I hope that you have a fantastic day. Tammy Lynn Connors signing out.